Next up, I'd have had the pleasure of talking to Joanne, but Joanne's going to be speaking on the Murray cod industry, which is something which has been, I mean, look, it's one that's been making headlines. It's one that there's a huge opportunity. It's a really exciting potential with not only on the whole sort of global protein opportunity, but as an aquaculture play here in Australia. So what I'd love to do is pass over to Joanne to talk on the Murray cod industry.
Thanks very much for that, Al. So yeah, I'm Jo Ruscoe. I'm here at Loki Consulting. I'm based on Yirrakanji lands in Cairns, and I've been in the aquaculture industry for a long time. I'm also currently the CEO of the Australian Barramundi Farmers Association. So look, Murray cod's, look, it's got so much potential. It's an iconic species. It's unique to Australia. It's highly valued as a premium white fish and with proven suitability for aquaculture. At the time of researching the plan, the estimated industry value was 9.2 million, and it's producing around 550 tonnes. Australia's largest producer currently estimates that the domestic market could sustain 3,000 to 4,000 tonnes of product annually. So the conservative projection is that Murray cod farming can realistically grow to be a $30 to $50 million industry by 2030. There's lots of opportunity globally and domestically. There's substantial unmet demand for a premium white flesh fish, or the new white salmon, as we like to say. At the time of the plan, all Murray cod was sold within Australia, although pre-COVID there had been some successful small consignments to overseas markets. The New South Wales Department of Primary Industries has identified Murray cod as one of 3 priority species for market access support, with Hong Kong, South Korea, Taiwan, Vietnam, Singapore, the US and the EU considered of interest. A little bit briefly about the industry. As I said, estimated value around 9.2 million as of the end of last year, producing around 550 tonnes. There's less than 30 active producers and most farms are in New South Wales, although production does occur across a wide geographic inland area from southern Queensland down to Victoria and across to South Australia. The industry has largely adopted production methods where fish are grown in cages with purpose-built ponds, although some small operators are using enclosed recirculating tank systems. There are currently 2 farms producing over 50 tonnes per annum, with the largest producer responsible for greater than 30% of total production. So we do have a three-tiered industry. The second group of small and medium-sized farms exist where Murray cods are part of their farming operations, and the third group are very small farms that have the secondary income stream. So there are large areas of land suitable for the development of Murray cod with access to suitable water, and the industry is generally regarded as environmentally sustainable in terms of water efficiency. It's a proven species for aquaculture, and currently there are no significant viral health challenges. So the RD&E plan for the Murray cod industry has a vision that by 2050 the industry will be worth at least $100 million, with its success founded on value over volume. That's an important point. I really like the approach the industry has taken to determining the priorities here. To get to the outcome, over the next 5 years, they have 5 strategic goals, and that is to build industry capacity to address their shared issues, again, the representation issue, to secure the Murray cod's reputation as a highly valued and responsibly produced premium product, to improve productivity, and to address barriers to sustainable growth in industry and to grow markets. So just a little bit more context around those things. So market and community expectations, both within Australia and overseas, are increasingly focused on animal welfare and environmental responsibility. And the industry recognises a need to be prepared and not to be responding incrementally to those changes. So the key activities is to undertake an assessment of trends and investigate cost-effective options for demonstrating their sustainability to support market access and community support. With regard to improving productivity, many producers are operating without useful data sets on costs and performance, and they lack technical skills. The immediate priority for them is to extend some guidance materials that are recently developed by FRDC, and then to design and implement industry survey and sampling programs that allow them to collect data to target R&D and to measure the impact of practice change. So again, they've got the attitude of being on the front foot and not trying to implement systems of data gathering down the track, but to start off with this as a foundation. Specialised diets they've expressed a need for, however, investment is constrained by the small size of the market, and the industry is yet to determine its priorities. So what it needs to do first of all is to collect longitudinal data on feeding, growth and health at different life stages. There's a need to improve understanding and management of fish health. Priority activity there is to identify and assemble and triage issues into solutions, and to enhance industry skills in health monitoring, early diagnosis and appropriate management. Supply of fingerlings is probably the biggest factor limiting growth in industry production and a barrier for new entrants. The priority activity here is to undertake an analysis of fingerling supply, demand and survival, and provide the economic analysis for government or private investment to address technical and market failure points. It's very expensive, and that economic analysis has been agreed as the first point to be able to build the case for that investment in expensive hatcheries and nursery production.
But that was so engaging. Is there anything else just to round that out? And we'll come back into question time.
The other major consideration is around growing the markets, and there's a need to better understand consumer profiles, purchasing patterns to allow the industry to guide and target its messaging. And as production volumes continue to grow, new markets will need to be found to maintain those prices. So a medium high priority is to undertake an evidence-based brand and export strategy, which is underpinned by a combination of in-desk and in-country research. And that's me, that's done.
Thank you. That was fantastic. Looking at the opportunity there with, an 8x domestic growth opportunity, out the bat, and then the offshore expansion, especially with the demand in protein into the Asian markets. I think there's a really exciting future ahead for that Murray cod industry.